All right, guys, Mr. Fair here. Sitting in my backyard, some noises. Hope it's not too much of a distraction. So today we're going to go over the CRQ that I assigned last week, and hopefully we can get you guys to start writing more. Okay, you need to push your answers further than you did, and you need to use some evidence that you were sort of lacking. So we're going to go through, and let's take a look at our Eagle Scholar for the day. All right, so Eagle Scholar will be able to explain the expectations for an answer that meets the grade requirement. And the agenda today is review scholar work, and we're going to look at revision ideas to improve the answers. We're going to look at an exemplar that I wrote up that would, qualify as just top level work. And then I have an exit ticket question for you at the end. All right. All right, so this is a scholar response that I pulled off of the Google Classroom. So the first one dealt with the map, if you remember, right, and explaining the geographic context for the development of the Babylonian Empire. So this scholar wrote the Babylonian Empire built most of their cities around rivers. All of their cities were spaced out. Okay, that's true, but why were they around rivers? All right, that's the real question. Okay, and that's really what they want you to get at and use some evidence from that map. So you got to name the rivers, right? Whatever they're talking about, whatever seems to be the key in this particular question, you should name the Tigris and the Euphrates. Okay, that should be in your answer. That's evidence from the map that shows you understand what they were and why they were important. You can explain why the rivers are important. Okay, they provided what? Okay, if you didn't know or you got it wrong, what was it that they did? They provided fertile land for people to farm on, irrigation, transportation. There's a lot of reasons. All right, that's why all the rivers are near, or all the cities are near the rivers. Okay, and then lastly, provide some outside information. Okay, what could you have provided that would have shown you understood this time period, this region? You could have mentioned the term early river civilizations. That would have been a nice piece of outside information to add. Or maybe a different river valley, just kind of like, oh, this is sort of similar to this one as well. And you don't have to go into depth, but just make that reference and make it clear. Now, how many sentences should this be? Probably 4 to 5. Okay. So this is another scholar's work. This is for the second one, dealing with Hammurabi's code and what was the purpose in doing it. This scholar wrote he wrote these laws because some of the people in the city were getting out of line, and these laws are for the people that didn't respect the laws. Okay, that's all true. What do we need to do to move this from, it's a pretty accurate answer to being one that's well developed, right? We want to be writing at a high level. Now, if you had told me this, you and I could have had a discussion and we would have been able to talk it out. And you would be like, oh, I get it, Mr. Fair. But you guys have to start being able to do that on your own because I'm not sitting there with you, okay? So what were some of the things here, all right? Name 2 of the codes, okay? It talked about fines, right? It talked about the different levels of social rank and how people were treated differently. You got to mention that. You got to pull that out. You got to explain it. Explain the reasons for them. All right. Why did Hammurabi have these codes? That's explained here. Scholar is right on money with that. So that would have been good. And then outside info. What can you pull on this for outside information? Okay. That's hard, right? It is challenging. And this is where I told you it's not only a test of reading comprehension, but also your historical knowledge. If you guys could just remember, this was one of the first legal codes, and that was what made it special. And that's why we talked about it, right? It was one of the first legal codes where they had it written down. That's your outside information. Okay.